These abandoned skyscrapers once symbolized progress and ambition, but now they tell stories of unfinished dreams and forgotten purposes. From towering hotels left incomplete to massive office buildings with design defects. Join me, we're going to take a look at 15 of the tallest. The need to build higher. Throughout history, societies have found ways to build upwards, often as a demonstration of culture, economic success, and technological advancement. The reasons are varied though, ranging from dealing with the lack of space and accommodating increasing populations to demonstrating power and modernization. Building tall is, however, something that faces complex engineering and logistical challenges. And while some tall buildings succeed and thrive, becoming iconic landmarks, others fail or are abandoned and remain standing as reminders of all the risks involved. The main reason for building up is because of the restraint, as developers can create more floors of leasable space for residents and businesses. They contribute to a city's skyline and can become core parts of its identity, like the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the Empire State Building in New York, or the Shanghai Tower. These structures can raise a city's profile, drawing attention and investment and demonstrating a city's vision of growth. Logistics, too, is also important when building a tall structure, and projects involving significant material transport and waste removal, often in restricted urban environments. Each stage of construction is carefully planned, with cranes and other machinery, and high-rise construction projects can take several years to complete. Delays due to weather, supply chain disruptions, or other unforeseen issues are pretty common and can quickly cause costs to escalate. Developers must have a clear vision of how a building will be used once it's complete, ensuring that there will be enough tenants or buyers to justify the cost. Societal and regulatory issues too also impact skyscraper projects. Sustainability with costs and practicality of tall building development remains tricky. Let's take a look at the tallest successful buildings. There's undoubtedly a huge amount of money to be made by successfully building a super tall skyscraper, not just for the real estate that can be sold off, but the fame that it brings to the city. The Burj Khalifa in Dubai, for example, is 2,717 feet or 828 meters tall, and has received global acclaim for its sustainability efforts. In addition to being an engineering feat, the Burj Khalifa has been credited with revitalizing Dubai's economy and tourism industry. The Shanghai Tower in China is the second tallest building in the world, reaching 2,073 feet, or 632 meters tall, and it was completed in 2015. It's a symbol of China's economic boom and urban development. The tower's twisting structure reduces wind loads by 24%, improving its stability and reducing overall costs. Its sustainable design, housing an upscale hotel, offices, and Korea's highest observation deck, Seoul Sky. It's also bolstered the South Korean tourism industry, and it offers a unique combination of traditional and modern Korean experiences. But despite the best planning and with such rewards on offer, not every tall building succeeds, and some are abandoned due to economic failures, political instability, or poor market timing. As a result, some of the tallest structures on the planet are, right now, completely empty. Let's have a look at some tall buildings that have been abandoned. The Baker Hotel in Mineral Wells, Texas. The Baker Hotel in Mineral Wells, Texas was first opened in 1929. With 450 rooms across 14 floors, it was the height of luxury in small-town Texas, and a major health destination in the city that took advantage of the nation's fascination with mineral springs. Architect Wyatt C. Hendrick designed the Baker Hotel with Spanish Revival influences and touches of Art Deco. Rich water craze fell out of favor, and Mineral Wells experienced a downturn as other destinations became more popular. By the 1950s, the Baker Hotel was already beginning to struggle financially, although it continued to operate through the 1960s. But competing with modern hotels and larger urban centers, the Baker could no longer attract the same number of high-profile visitors. Well, despite efforts to keep it operational, the hotel closed in 1972. Since then, the Baker Hotel has remained abandoned, and it's only ever really been visited by urban explorers, history enthusiasts, and paranormal investigators. Over the years, tales of hauntings have become associated with the Baker Hotel, including the story of the woman on the 7th floor. Many visitors claim to have experienced strange phenomena from cold spots to unexplained sounds, which adds an extra layer of mystery to the place. But it wasn't until 2019 that a serious renovation project was announced. A group of investors, seeing the importance of the Baker, unveiled plans to restore it to its former glory. 127 meters tall with 25 floors, it was once one of the tallest buildings in Mexico City, and held the title as the tallest building in Latin America for a few years after it was finished. The structure was meant to symbolize a new era of economic growth and optimism, and the site chosen for the building was in Tlatelolco, which is a historical area that's been repurposed into a modern housing development. The unusual triangle shape wasn't just an aesthetic choice, but a practical one too, as it was a way of dealing with Mexico City's seismic activity. This was put to the test during the 1985 Mexico City earthquake, which caused huge destruction throughout the city, and amazingly, Torre Insignia was only slightly damaged. One of the most popular features of this tower is its large carillon or music bell system. Located near the top of the structure, it has 47 bells and was a gift from the Belgian government. It played regularly for years and gave musical elements to the city skyline, making it a much-loved place. After a promising start, though, the decline of this area saw many resident major transportation hub that put Detroit at the center of the golden age of rail travel. There's no doubt that this was one of the most lavishly designed buildings ever. The main waiting room, inspired by Roman bathhouses, featured high vaulted ceilings, Corinthian columns, marble floor, and large arched windows. This lived up to the expectations of Detroit, which was a booming industrial center at that time, thanks to the rise of the automotive industry, and the station was a crucial gateway to the city. The station's fortunes began to decline in the mid-20th century, though, as rail travel gave way to cars and air travel. Detroit's economy was tightly linked to the automobile industry, and as more Americans chose cars and highways, the demand for train travel fell. By the 1950s, the station saw a major drop in passengers, and then further economic challenges hit Detroit in the 1960s and 70s, including the city's population decline and the struggles within the auto industry, which meant fewer people used the station. In 1988, the station saw its final train departure and closed its doors. Hurdles work is still ongoing at the site, and while it's expected to open in a few years' time, it currently remains empty. Abraham Lincoln Tower in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The Abraham Lincoln Tower is a lesser-known structure in Rio de Janeiro. It's located in the Barra de Tijuca neighborhood, and it's one of the few buildings in Brazil that's named after a historical U.S. president. Completed in the 1970s, this tower's design shows the architectural trends of the era and Rio's efforts to accommodate a growing population while developing its coastal urban environment. The Abraham Lincoln Tower is a residential building, and it was designed with a modernist aesthetic typical of Brazilian architecture at the time. Barra de Tijuca, where the tower is located, began to transform in the 60s and 70s as a planned urban area intended to relieve some overcrowding. The Abraham Lincoln Tower became part of that vision for a more organized and spacious Rio de Janeiro, and it was built with an identical twin, the Torre Charles de Gaulle, which was named the Oceanwide Plaza in Los Angeles. The Oceanwide Plaza, located in the heart of downtown Los Angeles in California, was an ambitious $1 billion project that was launched by Chinese developer Oceanwide Holdings. Meant to be a luxurious, mixed-use complex featuring 3 high-rise towers, work began on it in 2015, with a design that included a mix of residential units, a 5-star hotel, and upscale retail spaces. The original plan was for it to be finished by 2020, with the tallest of the 3 towers reaching a height of about 675 feet or 206 meters, and with 49 floors. Altogether, it promised to bring in nearly 500 luxury condominiums, a Park Hyatt hotel with over 180 rooms, and an expansive retail space, all located next to the Staples Center and LA Live. It was all set to revitalize one of LA's most exciting neighborhoods. Well, financial difficulties and regulatory complications led to delays in construction, though, and by early 2019, work on the project had stopped. In early 2024, it was revealed that at least 27 floors of each of the buildings have now been covered in graffiti, meaning that even if funds are secured to finish it, large parts will now have to be redone to bring it up to the required standards. The Tower of David in Caracas, Venezuela. The Tower of David is one of the strangest looking structures in Caracas in Venezuela. Originally meant to be a representation of Venezuela's economic strength, the 45-story skyscraper instead became known as the world's tallest informal settlement, giving it the nickname the world's tallest slum. Construction on the tower began in 1990, when Venezuela's economy was thriving thanks to its oil industry. The plan for the complex included offices, commercial spaces, and even a heliport, with a forward-thinking architectural design to show Venezuela as a rising economic power in Latin America. However, in 1994, during a period of financial instability, the Venezuelan banking crisis struck. Funding for the abandoned tower, local residents began to move in. Led by community leaders, groups of people turned the unfinished skyscraper into their homes, turning it into a makeshift community that would eventually have more than 1,000 families. The residents divided the space, created apartments, installed plumbing systems, and even established businesses and communal areas within the tower. Living conditions were, though, extremely challenging. The building had no elevators, forcing residents to walk up dozens of flights of stairs to reach their homes, and safety hazards such as exposed beams and open shafts were never fixed. In 2014, the Venezuelan government decided this couldn't continue and began a plan to relocate the residents to more stable housing. The move was part of a larger effort to deal with urban poverty and restore government control over the building. But today, the Tower of David stands empty and largely neglected. And while various plans have been put forward to finally complete it, the ongoing economic challenges in Venezuela have made redevelopment difficult. Decorative pinnacles give it an almost castle-like appearance, and inside the Starrick offered luxurious features that were rare at the time, including a barbershop, pharmacy, and restaurants, as well as a stunning Art Deco decor. When it opened, the Starrick building became a center of commercial activity and was the headquarters of some of Memphis' most prestigious businesses and law firms and even banks. The building was a symbol of Memphis's growth and prosperity during a time when the city was establishing itself as a major commercial and cultural center in the American South, but the Starrick's building's fortunes shifted over time. As Memphis's economy and urban layout evolved in the second half of the 20th century, new developments and modern office buildings began to be built in the suburbs and other parts of the city. Businesses gradually moved out, and by the 1960s, the building had started to lose tenants and occupancy rates fell. Maintenance of the aging building then became costly too, as the older systems and elaborate detailing required expensive upkeep that was difficult to justify. Beirut, Lebanon. The Burj Al Noor, which is in the center of Lebanon's capital city of Beirut, is a strange reminder of the city's turbulent history. Standing at 492 feet or 150 meters tall, with 34 floors, it was once meant to be a symbol of Beirut's growth and prosperity in the 1970s. Construction started in 1974 with the vision of creating one of the tallest skyscrapers in the Middle East at that time. Named after its financier Michael Murr, a Lebanese businessman and politician, the tower was planned as a multi-purpose one. The city at the time was known as the Paris of the Middle East during the 60s and 70s, experiencing a cultural and economic renaissance, and the Burj Al Noor was set to be a significant part of this success. However, just as construction was nearing its end in 1975, the Lebanese Civil War started, which lasted for 15 years and deeply affected Beirut and the entire country. Despite its incomplete state, the Burj Al Noor quickly took on a new, unintended role in the war, as because it's modern Beirut, it's abandoned with empty windows and a skeleton-like appearance, it makes it stand out among the city's newer high-rises. Either way, restoring or repurposing Burj Al Noor would be an enormous challenge, with it needing extensive renovations and investments to make it safe and functional, which is unlikely to happen while the country's economy continues to struggle. The Sathorn Unique Tower in Bangkok, Thailand. The Sathorn Unique Tower is one of the city's most famous abandoned structures. It's often known as the Ghost Tower because of its unfinished state. Standing at 49 stories tall with a height of around 607 feet or 185 meters, it was designed to be a luxurious residential skyscraper. Construction began in the early 1990s, which was a period that saw rapid economic growth in Thailand. Bangkok was expanding quickly, with skyscrapers popping up across the city. The building's architecture combined a modern high-rise style with ornate details inspired by Thai and European designs, and it was hoped that it would become a landmark that would stand out among photographers and backpackers who wanted to see the view from one of Bangkok's tallest structures. The views from the top floors are certainly amazing, offering an uninterrupted vantage point over the city's winding river and skyscrapers. But this is obviously a dangerous thing to do because there are exposed ledges, missing railings, and dangers from the building's deteriorating condition. The current state of the building is so bad that it would require extensive work to make it habitable or functional, which has deterred many potential investors, and Bangkok's real estate market has since changed dramatically, with newer, more modern buildings catering to luxury buyers. In recent years, though, there have been some calls to demolish it and give up on the project for good, reclaiming the land for something else. But for the moment, it still stands empty, as a reminder of what once could have been. The Jeddah Tower in Saudi Arabia. With an initial budget of $1.2 billion, the Jeddah Tower, formerly known as Kingdom Tower, is a highly ambitious skyscraper project in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. That was my family. The tower was meant to be the centerpiece of the Jeddah Economic City, which is a massive urban development project. Designed by Adrian Smith, the American architect who also designed the Burj Khalifa, the tower would include a luxury hotel, office spaces, residential units, and an observation deck, all within its more than 200 floors. The foundation for Jeddah Tower is impressive in itself. With the planned height of the tower, the foundation had to be incredibly deep and strong to support the massive weight. The concrete used for the foundation and core is especially reinforced to handle the intense pressure exerted by such a tall structure. And unusually, the tower's design uses a 3-pedal footprint, which tapers as it rises to counteract the effect of strong winds at higher altitudes. Construction officially began in 2013, and as the project immediately garnered global attention as a potential record breaker. Progress, though, has been far slower than initially expected. By 2018, construction had stalled out at around 985 feet, or 300. Developers have insisted that they're committed to finishing the tower, and there's been a speculation about construction resuming, especially as the country continues to push forward with its Vision 2030 plans. With funds currently being diverted elsewhere, it's no longer clear how important the tower is to the Saudi leadership. And while they're deciding quite what to do with it, it remains one of the tallest abandoned buildings on the planet. The Ryugyong Hotel in Pyongyang, North Korea. The Ryugyong Hotel is a strange structure in the reclusive country, not just because of how big it is, but because it's currently completely empty. Standing at over 1,000 feet or 330 meters tall with a pyramid shape, this 105-story building was meant to be a symbol of North Korea's ambitious advancement. But with it being incomplete, it has the opposite effect, becoming known by some as the Hotel of Doom. Well, the idea for this hotel was announced in 1987, at a time when North Korea was trying to find various ways of displaying its strength to the world. It was hoped that the pyramidal structure circulated. With its unusual shape and size, it captured the public's imagination, giving it the nickname Hotel of Doom. It was long thought to be a lost cause, but there were renewed hopes in 2008 when the Egyptian telecommunications company Orascom entered into a partnership with North Korea, and funding was secured to complete the hotel. By 2011, the exterior was finished, transforming the hotel from a concrete skeleton into a gleaming glass-clad structure, immediately giving Pyongyang a more modern skyline and renewing North Korea's hopes of opening the hotel. While plenty of rumors and announcements have emerged over the years about potential opening dates and uses for the building, including turning parts of it into office space, restaurants, and luxury suites, but each announcement has been followed by silence, with the building still empty. Now it's more than 30 years old, and insiders have said that the interior faces significant structural challenges. As North Korea has limited resources, completing such a project remains financially and logistically impossible. Today, though, Golden Finance 117, which has also become known as the walking stick because of its slender and elongated appearance, is one of the tallest skyscrapers in China and can be found in the city of Tianjin. Standing at a height of 1,957 feet or 597 meters, it was originally meant to be a landmark of luxury, symbolizing China's urban growth and the success of its private sector. However, despite nearly being completed, Golden Finance 117 remains unoccupied and unfinished, and is the tallest abandoned building on the planet. The project was developed by Golden Property Holdings, a real estate investment company with interests in a variety of luxury products. It was going to be the centerpiece of a development providing luxurious office spaces, a high-end hotel, and observation decks that would offer views of Tianjin and beyond. The building's design by the architectural firm P&T Group has a sleek and thin profile and a diamond-shaped crown. That crown, where the observation deck and hotel lobby were planned, features in securing additional funding. While adding to those challenges, the demand for luxury office and hotel spaces in Tianjin had fallen significantly by the time Golden Finance 117 was nearly complete. While the tower had been planned as a beacon for multinational companies and luxury clientele, economic conditions had changed, and the need for such an ambitious skyscraper was no longer there. Various proposals have surfaced over the years to repurpose or sell the building, but none have led to anything of worth. For many, the tower has become a symbol of overreach in China's real estate sector, showing the potential pitfalls of ambitious projects undertaken during times of economic success without fully accounting for long-term market stability. Yeah, there's no shortage of ambition when it comes to building super tall structures, and the cities that have been successful with their plans, like Dubai, have benefited enormously from it. Failure, though, can be caused by a wide range of problems, from a lack of funding to finish everything to wider political situations, changes in the